from Pure Yoga for mindful movement of increase and decrease flow. So this practice is going to be 6 poses that are all interlinked, and we're going to be going forwards and backwards with them. So whenever we do 2 poses, we will take it back through those 2 poses, or 3 poses, or 6 poses, wherever we're going. It will start to become understandable as we move. So just bringing yourself onto your knees just for a moment, place the hands on top of the thighs, take a roll of the shoulders up towards the ears, back down towards the hips, then take a close of the eyes. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose, long sigh out through the mouth. Growing tall through the spine, up through the crown, but grounded through the sit bones. Open the eyes. Bringing your left fingertips to the floor, reaching up with your right hand. Send that right hand over to the left. Come back to center. Bring your right hand to the floor. Reach up with your left hand and reach over to your right. Come back to center. Same again to the other side. And back to center. And same over to the right. Come back to center. Bringing your right hand to your left knee, your left hand behind, rotate. Come back to center, take it to the other side. Left hand, right knee and rotate. Same on the other direction. One more to the other side. Come back to center. Make your way into tabletop. Bringing the heel of the hands underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. We've done lateral flexion and rotation. Now taking extension and flexion. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Take that 2 more times. One more. Using the breath to move. And then the next time you come back through central, hold it in tabletop, soften the elbows, step both feet back into a plank position. Then drop down the knees, untuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows, release to the floor, elbows grazing the ribs, push into the hands, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the hands away. Use those back muscles to lift that chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes, chest comes back to the thighs. Push into the hands and feet, lift up the hips. Start to paddle the feet as you arrive in your first down dog. Maybe moving through those hips, those shoulders, maybe bending those elbows, working all those joints around the toes, the ankles, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, the elbows, wrists and fingers. When you're happy to bring those heels to stillness, just let them encourage back towards the floor. Take a gaze back towards the toes, the knees or the hips to get a stretch maybe through the back of the neck. Then coming down onto your knees, untucking your toes, finding tabletop position just for a moment. So starting with our first 2 flows, turn your right foot off the mat, your first 2 poses, sorry, and send your left foot back, reach your left hand up, left hand forward to the front of the room, then raise the left foot to hip height, finding side plank, knee dropped. Just for a couple of breaths, pushing your hips to that left side of the mat, softening that right elbow where you're putting your weight onto so we don't lock out in the joints. Bring that left knee into the chest, take a hold of the left ankle, turn your right foot back onto the mat, hands come to the chest, right elbow, left knee, and rotate yourself to the left side. So finding this rotation from the waist rather than the pelvis, so keep the pelvis square to that front edge of the mat. Shoulders coming to the left side of the mat. Hands are the strength, right elbow is the anchor. Taking it back through that side plank position. So bring your right foot hand back to the mat, your right foot just off the mat, left foot goes back hip height, left hand reaches up, then forward to the front of the room, Hold it in this side plank, knee down variation, squeezing the outside of that left hip to keep that left leg lifted. Bring your left hand to the floor, left knee to the floor. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts at the head, lifts at the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold everything back in, chin to chest, tailbone toes. Come back to neutral space. We'll take it on the left side, those same two poses. Left foot comes off, right foot goes back. Right hand lifts, then forward to the front of the room as you lift the right foot up to hip height. Soften that left elbow, push the hips to the right side of the room. Squeeze the outside of that right bum cheek and push that right heel back. Bring that knee then into the chest. Take a hold of the ankle. Bring your right foot through, your left foot back onto the mat. Hands to the chest, left elbow, right knee. Find the rotation to the right. So breathing in long on your inhale and complete on your exhale. Try and get that right shoulder to come back and the left shoulder to come under. Holding it in that rotation just for another breath. Then taking it back to our side plank, bring your left hand to the floor, left foot slightly off the mat, right leg goes back, right hand lifts, then right hand forward to the front of the room, holding side plank, squeezing through the glutes, lifting through that right leg, squeezing the outside of the right hip. Then bring your right hand down, right knee down. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold it all back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to center space, tabletop position. We're going to take our next two poses, Humble Warrior, High Lunge Eagle Arms. So bringing your right foot through, in between your hands, tucking your back toes under and lifting up the back knee. Bringing your shoulders over the hips, interlacing the fingers to the lower back. Push those hands down to that left leg, heel toe the right foot out to the side. Right shoulder, right knee, chest to the inside of the thigh. If you wish to lift those hands away from the lower back or keep them on the lower back, whatever works for the shoulders. Encourage your left hip forward, right hip back, back leg straight, right knees bent. Relax through the head and the neck. And then lift those shoulders back over the hips. Release the grip, bring the hands forward, right knee still bent. Right elbow hooks under the left, bend the elbows, bring the hands to the shoulders, back of the hands, or find a double wrap. And then lift the shoulders to the eye gaze. Holding it in eagle arms, high lunge legs. And then in a moment, we're going to take it back through our Humble Warrior. So releasing the bind of the hands, bring the interlace of the fingers, push the hands down towards that left leg. Bring your right shoulder to the right knee. Maybe lift the hands up and away from the lower spine. Relax through the head. Humble Warrior. Going back through reverse of the poses. And then release those hands down either side of the right foot. And then drop the left knee. Bring your right foot back to meet the left. And take a round of cat-cow. Breath in. Lifts at the head, lifts at the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold all back in, chin to chest, and the tailbone tucks, centre of the spine left. Come back through that centre space, tabletop position. Bringing this time your left foot through, tucking your back toes under, lifting your back knee. Bringing your shoulders over your hips, your hands to interlace at the lower back. Push the hands down, that right leg, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Heel toe the left foot out to the side. Then bring that left shoulder to that left knee as you raise the hands up and away from the lower back if you're happy to do so. Relax the head. Let go of that neck. Then lifting those shoulders back up and over the hips. Release the hand of interlace. Bring the hands forward, shoulder height. This time left elbow hooks under the right, bring the hands to the shoulders, back of the hands or palms, and then raise up with the arms, elbows to the gaze point. Left leg stays bent, right leg stays straight, and the shoulders are relaxed. Keep that lower belly lifted, keep that strength in the centre of the body. Don't dump that lower spine. Then release the hands from the bind, take an interlace at the lower back, push the hands down the right leg, squeeze the shoulder blades together, left shoulder, left knee, chest to the inside of the left thigh, let the head hang, arms lifted if you require that position of those hands. Then release those hands down either side of the left foot, drop your right knee, left knee back to meet the right, and take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lift up the head, lift up the bum, drop the belly. Breath out, we fold it all back in, chin to chest as the tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to neutral space. So we're taking 2 more poses, forward and reverse, which will be aeroplane and chair. So bringing your right foot through in between your hands, tucking your back toes under, lifting up your back knee, bringing your shoulders over your hips, and then stepping forward onto your right leg, lifting up your left leg, squeezing your shoulder blades together, breathing into that space. That one leg standing balance, both hips are nice and square. Shoulders are squeezed together to create that expansion of the chest. Then bring your left foot to meet your right, sink your hips, bring your hands to the chest, find chair position with palms together. Tuck the tailbone down, feather light touch through the toes, weight in the heels. Then bring the hands back, bring your weight onto your right foot again, send your left foot back, heel pushing away, toes pointing down. Hold it in aeroplane, just for another breath. Then bend into your right knee, let your left toes come to the floor, hands to the floor, left knee to the mat, right knee to the mat, and take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, fold it all in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to neutral position, tabletop, taking it on that left side. So your left foot comes forward, in between the hands. Your back toes tuck under, and we lift up the back knee. Lift the shoulders over the hips, hands by the side of the body. Step forward onto your left foot as you raise the right leg, straightening the left leg, squaring the hips to the mat, squeezing the shoulder blades to create expansion through the chest. Standing aeroplane pose, balancing on that left side. Bring your right foot to meet the left, bend the knees, bring the hands to the chest, sink the hips low, relax the shoulders down, weight into the heels. Then bringing your weight back onto your left leg, bring your hands back, send your right heel back, find your aeroplane pose again, just for another couple of breaths. Torso in line with the hips, try and engage through the centre of the body to keep yourself strong. Then bend your left knee, step your right foot back, hands to the floor, right knee to the floor, left knee back to meet the right, and take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts up the head, lifts up the tailbone, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold it all back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to a neutral place, tabletop position. Step both feet back into a plank. Then drop down the knees, untuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows, slowly release yourself down to the mat. Push into the hands, lift up the chest, bring the hands away, hold it in the back bend, push those hips into the mat to create that space in the lower back. Then bring the hands back to the floor, tuck the toes, chest back to the thighs, then push into those hands and feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. Maybe have a little pedal, nod and shake of the head, movement through the knees, hips, ankles, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Bring those heels then to stillness, encourage them back towards the floor. Then come down onto the knees, untuck the toes, bring the seat to the feet. Maybe take this moment just to take on some water. So the next 2 rounds on both left and right sides are going to be 3 poses. So the first 3 will be side plank, rotated low lunge and humble warrior. And then we'll reverse back through them. And the second 3 will be high lunge, aeroplane, standing balance and chair, and reverse back through those. So when you're ready, coming into your tabletop position, heel of the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Starting with our first 3 poses on the right side. Turn your right foot off the mat, send your left foot back, left hand to the ceiling, then reach that left hand forward to the front of the room and lift that left leg up to hip height. Finding that long stretch down the left side of the body, softness through the right elbow. Bring the knee to the chest, take a hold of the left ankle, bring your right foot back onto the mat, bring the hands to the chest. Right elbow over your left knee, rotate to your left side of the room and turn and twist through the waist, square the hips to the front edge. One more breath here. Then turn those shoulders back to the front, tuck your back toes under, hands to the hips, lift and straighten the back leg, left knee stays straight, bent. Bring the hands to the lower back, interlace the fingers, push the hands down to the back of the right leg, heel toe the left foot out to the side, left shoulder, left knee, hands lift away from the lower back. Relax the neck, gaze back towards those toes of the right. If those arms lifted are comfortable, bring them back to the lower back. Then lift those shoulders back over the hips, release the hands, drop the right knee and tuck the right toes. Hands come together at the chest, reversing back through our low lunge twist. Push into the palms. And then taking it back to our side plank. Right hand comes down, right foot turns off the mat. Left foot goes to the back, hip height. Left hand to the ceiling. Then forward to the front of the room, finding that side plank, knee down. Left heel pushing away. Then bring your left hand to the floor, left knee to the floor. And take a round of cat-cow here. Breath in, lifts up the head, lifts up the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold it all back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to neutral place. To take them poses on the opposite side. Left foot comes off the mat, right foot goes back, right hand lifts, right hand comes forward, right foot comes to hip height. Push the hips to the right, squeeze that bum, squeeze the outside of the right hip to keep that right leg lifted and soften that left elbow. Bring that knee to the chest, take a hold of the right ankle, bring the foot forward, bring your left foot back onto the mat. Lift up through the chest, bring the hands together, left elbow hooks over the right, turn, twist, rotate to that right side of the room. Using that breath, elongation on your inhale, rotation on your exhale. Then turn those shoulders back to the front, bring the hands to the hips, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, straightening the left leg, staying bent in the right. Hands come to the back, interlace the fingers, push the hands down the left leg, heel toe the right foot out as you bring that right shoulder to that right knee and the chest to the inside of the right thigh. Hands lifting to the ceiling, gazing back towards those left toes, finding that humble warrior space. Holding here for a few breaths before we reverse back through those 3 poses. So starting with our humble warrior, then release those hands to the back, lift up through the chest, bring the hands to the hips, drop the left knee to the floor and tuck the left toes. Hands come to the chest, left elbow, right knee, rotate in your your low lunge. And then we're going to take it back to our side plank, so bring your left hand down, send your left foot off the mat, right foot back, hip height, right hand to the ceiling, then right hand to the front of the room, palm facing down, push your right heel back, right toes back to the shins. Hold it in this space, just for a couple of breaths. Push those hips to that right side of the mat. Then bring your right hand down, right knee down, and take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts up the head, lifts up the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold it all back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to neutral space, tabletop position. Then we're going to take our 3 last poses, high lunge eagle, aeroplane and chair. So we're going to bring your right foot through in between the hands, tuck your back toes under and lift the back knee. Bring the shoulders over the hips, bring the arms up to shoulder height, wrap your right arm under the left, bend into the elbows, either find shoulders, back of the hands or palms, lift the elbows up high, sink the hips low, holding it in eagle, just for a couple of breaths. Then release the hands down by the sides of the body. Step forward onto your right foot as you lift your left leg up to hip height, torso in line with the hips, toes of the left foot pointing down. Squeeze of the shoulder blades to expand that chest. Then bring your left foot to meet the right, sink into the hips, bring the hands to the chest. Tuck the tailbone under and sink those hips a little lower. So we always reverse back through in this pose. So bring your weight back into your right foot, bring your hands behind, lift your left foot back and find that aeroplane pose for a breath or two. And bend your right knee, bring your left toes back, bring the arms up shoulder height, then hook your right arm under the left, find the shoulders, back of the hands or palms, eagle arms, high lunge legs. Then bring the hands to the floor, drop your left knee, bring your right knee back to meet the left and take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, fold it all back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to that neutral place, tabletop position. Bringing your left foot through in between the hands, tucking your back toes under, lifting the back knee. Lift the shoulders over the hips, reach the arms forward, shoulder height, back leg straight, left knee bent, left elbow comes underneath, back of the hands, shoulders or palms, find eagle arms, lifting up through those elbows to bring it into your eye gaze. Keep those hips low, keep the elbows high. Keep that core engagement, lower belly lift, tailbone tucked. Then release the hands down by the side of the body. Step forward onto your left foot as you raise up with your right leg, both legs straight, torso in line as much as you can with those hips. Right toes pointing down and back towards the shins. Then take a bend into your left knee, bring your right foot to meet the left. Find chair. Sink the hips low, lift the lower belly up, tailbone tucked under. Then finding our way back through those 3 poses. So here first, chair position. Sink maybe a little lower. Then bring your weight back into your left foot. Bring your hands behind, send your right foot back. Bring it in line as much as you can with the hips. Torso in line with the legs, so a long line from the crown to the heel. And then bending into your left knee, bringing your right foot back. Arms up to shoulder height. Bring your left arm under, bend the elbows, find shoulders, back of hands, palms, lift the elbows up nice and high, sink the hips nice and low. Then bringing both hands down, either side of the left foot, drop your right knee and tuck the toes, left knee back to meet the right. Take a round of cat-cow, breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold it all back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to tabletop. Step both feet back into a plank. Then drop the knees without moving the feet, untuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows. Slowly let that body lower to the floor with a nice long line. Push into the hands and lift up the chest, bring the hands away. Push the hips in, squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the shoulder blades, all those back muscles working to keep that torso lifted. Then bring the hands back by the sides of the body, tuck the toes under, Bring the chest back to the thighs, push into the hands and feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back, maybe paddle, move the ankles, the toe joints, the knee joints, the hip joints. Get everything involved through the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, maybe the fingers, maybe a nod and shake of the head. Then bringing yourself down onto your knees, widen the knees, bring the big toes together. Just take a moment either in child's pose or find yourself some fluids. Always making sure that you take plenty of water on. These forward and reverses can be quite challenging. So remember, we're going to be taking it now through all 6 poses on one side, all 6 poses on another, holding the poses for a few breaths, reversing back through them, one at a time, coming back to the beginning. So just take a few moments to really still the mind, restore the breath, restore the hydration, and just allow that body to come to calm, ready to flow nicely through the practice. Breath, really concentrate on that if your mind starts to wander. When you're ready, making your way into your tabletop, bringing the hands forward, heel of the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Take a round of cat-cow, breath in, lifts up the head, lifts up the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold it all back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to neutral place. We turn the right foot off the mat, send the left foot back, reach the left hand to the ceiling, then forward to the front of the room, raising the left foot up to hip height. Push those hips forward, soften the right elbow, push away with that left heel and squeeze those toes of the left foot back towards the shins. Relax that left shoulder back towards the hips rather than creeping up towards the ear. Bring that knee now into the chest. Take a hold of the ankle, bring your left foot through, your right foot back onto the mat. Bring the hands to the chest. Your right elbow hooks over your left knee, and we find that rotation, square hips to the front, shoulders to the left, rotation through the waist. Using and working that digestive system, help it clear the toxins as we take this rotation. Hands are the strength, the right elbow is your anchor. Then turn the shoulders to the front. Bring the hands to the hips, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee and straighten that right leg, keeping your left knee bent. Lift the lower belly up and tuck the tailbone under, interlace the fingers at the bum, push the hands down that right leg, heel toe the left foot out slightly, left shoulder to the left knee, and the hands raising above the head, and the gaze back to the toes, relaxing through the neck, finding your humble warrior. Then bring those hands back to the lower back. Bring that chest up and away from that left thigh. Bring the arms forward, shoulder height. Your left elbow hooks under your right. Bend the elbows. Either find the shoulders, back of the hands or the palms. Eagle arms. Keep the hips low, but the elbows nice and high. Relax the shoulders. Then release those hands down by the side of the body. Step forward onto your left foot, raising that right leg up to hip height. Torso in line with the hips, heel of the right foot is in line with the hips as much as possible. And don't let that right hip lift, keep it square to the mat. Then bring your right foot to meet the left. Sink the hips, bring the hands to the chest. Finding chair. Softness through the toes, weight in the heels. If you wish to lift the arms high, just to challenge it a little more through the shoulders, wherever you wish to be. So this is the last of that 6 poses, so we have to reverse back through. So bring your weight back into your left foot, send your right foot back, hands back, palms facing in to find your aeroplane pose. And then bending into your left knee, stepping your right foot back. Sink the hips, raise the arms. Left elbow under the right. Bend the elbows, hands, back of the hands, shoulders or palms. Lift the elbows and sink those hips. Stay strong in that center line. Relax through the shoulders. Then release the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers. Push the hands down that right leg. Left shoulder to the left knee. Raising the hands away from the lower back if you wish or not. Gazing back to those right toes if you want to. Humble warrior. Then bring those hands back to the lower back. Lift the shoulders back over the hips. Place the hands on the hips. Drop your right knee. Untuck your right toes. Hands together at the chest. Your right elbow hooks over your left knee. And we find that rotation again in low lunge. Then we need to find our side plank on this side for the last time. So bring your right hand down, turn your right foot off the mat, send your left foot back, hip height, left hand to the ceiling, then reach forward with that left hand, nice long line from the left heel to the fingertips of the left hand, and feel like you're pushing those hips forward. The balance is coming through that right shin, that right hand. Then bring that left hand down, left knee down. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold it all back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to central. We're going to take a vinyasa. If you wish to take child's pose here, feel free to do so. If you're with me, step back, heels pushing back, and then drop the knees, untuck the toes without moving the feet, turn the creases of the elbows, slowly lowering yourself to the floor. Push into the hands, lift up the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, remove the hands away. So we're not using any outside influence to lift that chest, it's just muscle engagement in the back. Then release the hands back down, tuck under with the toes, the chest comes back to the thighs. We push into the hands and feet, we lift up the hips, we squeeze the heels back. Take a little movement in your down dog, all the way from the toes to the ankles, the knees to the hips to the shoulders, to the elbows, to the wrists, to the fingertips. And then coming down onto your knees and tucking the toes, we will take all those 6 poses forward in reverse on the opposite side. Turning your left foot off the mat, sending your right foot back, reaching up with the right hand, sending it forward, palm face down, right leg lifts to hip height. Push those hips to the right. Holding it in this space, soften that left elbow. Know that that left hand, left knee, left shin, left foot is holding the balance of this side plank. Then bring that knee into the chest, take a hold of the ankle, left foot turns back on the mat. Bring the hands together at the chest. Left elbow hooks over the right knee and we rotate, turn to the right. Again, working that digestive system, releasing those toxins, getting rid of negative energy and drawing in those positive thoughts. Bring those shoulders back forward, hands to the hips, tuck the back toes under, and lift up with that back knee. Back leg straight, right knee bent. Bring the hands to the lower back, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together, heel toe the right foot out, and then bring that right shoulder to that right knee. Gaze back towards the left toes. Encourage your left hip forward, your right hip back. Hands can be wherever you require them to be. Work with your shoulders and the ability that they have to move in all different directions. We're taking them into extension here. And then bring those hands back to the lower back. Lift the shoulders over the hips. Bring the arms forward. Right elbow hooks under the left. Shoulders back of the hands or palms. Lift the elbows, lower the hips. Engage through that lower belly by lifting it up. Shortening that space between the ribs and the hips, tethering them together. Then release the hands down. Step forward onto your right leg, lifting your left leg up hip height to find aeroplane. Create that expansion through the chest. Palms facing in and reaching back to the back of the room. Left toes down, left heel pushing back. Both hips are nice and square. And then release that left foot to meet the right. Sink the hips, bring the hands to the chest. Palms together, finding chair pose for a few breaths. Engaging those abdominals, bringing that space between the ribs and hips a little shorter. Lifting up through the chest, maybe up through the arms. Working with what works for you. And then bring those hands back to the chest. If they've been lifted, back by the sides of the body. Weight comes back into that right leg as you find that aeroplane pose again on that right side. And then bend into that right knee. Step the left foot back. Left leg straight, right knee bent. Arms come back up to shoulder height. Right arm under the left. Find shoulders, back of the hands, palms. Raise the elbows, sink the hips. Left foot squeezing back. One more breath here. Then release the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers, push the hands down to that left leg. Heel toe the right foot out to the side. Bring that right shoulder to that right knee. And the hands lifting away from the lower back. Relax the neck. Then lift back up through the torso. Hands to the hips. Left knee to the floor. Untuck the back toes. Hands together at the chest. Left elbow, right knee. Turn, twist, rotate to the right side. Squeezing those internal organs. Bending into that right knee. Then taking it back to our side plank. Left hand comes to the floor. Left foot comes slightly off the mat. Right foot goes back to hip height, right hand lifts. Right hand forward to the front of the room, palm facing down. Push those hips forward, squeeze those glutes, lift that leg of the right, hold it in that space. And then bringing your right hand down, right knee down. Taking a round of cat-cow here. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold it all back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Back to centre, neutral position. Both feet step back to plank. Without moving the feet, drop the knees, untuck the toes. Turn the creases of the elbows as you slowly release to the floor. Push into the hands and lift up the chest, bring the hands away. Then bring the hands back to the floor, tuck under with the toes. Bring the chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet. Lift at those hips, paddle, move those joints. Elbows and shoulders included. Nod and shake of the head. Then coming down onto the knees, untuck the toes, bring the seat to the feet. Roll the shoulders, relax them back down. Fingertips of the right on the floor, reach up with the left hand over to the right. Come back to centre, fingertips of the left to the floor, reach over with the right hand to the left. And back to centre, one more both sides. Back to centre, one more over to the right. Back to centre, left hand, right knee, rotate to the right. Right hand, left knee, rotate to the left. Back through centre, rotate to the right. Back to centre, rotate to the left. Come back to centre, Swing the legs around. Bring your feet to the front of the mat. Bums into the centre. Arms out shoulder height. And slowly and mindfully making your way down to the floor with control. Holding that posture as you bring one vertebra down to the floor one at a time. And then when you finally make it to the mat, bring arms to T-shape. Bring a bend into the knees. Let the knees stay in the centre, heel toe the feet out to the edges. Let the knees go over to your left, your gaze to your right. Just let the lower limbs relax. Stretch through those hip flexors. Expand that chest by pushing those shoulders into the mat. Rotation of the cervical spine. Rotation of the waist. Bring that body back through centre, head back, gazing to the ceiling. Just let the knees drop internally for a breath. And then let the knees go over to your right, your gaze to your left. Let everything relax to the floor. Let go of anything you're holding through your neck. Taking some easy breaths as you notice those muscles starting to give. Bring the knees back to the centre. Heel toe the feet back together. Then let the knees drop out to the side, soles of the feet face inward, and then just rock those knees a little from side to side, just to massage that lower spine. So your choice for relaxation is to stay here or go to the last pose with the knees dropping in, or take yourself long with the legs onto the mat, either mat width apart or slightly wider. Wherever you've placed the legs, bring the hands down by the sides of the body. Let the fingers gently curl, the palms face up, the shoulders relax. Maybe turn the head in one direction, bring it back through centre, over to the other side. Back into the middle. Take a long breath in. Long sigh out through the mouth. Relax the forehead, the jaw. Let the tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth and those lips gently part. Let the weight of the body give to the earth. Scan that body if there's anything you're holding on to. Maybe give that muscle a squeeze and then let that muscle release. So your choice, if you wish to stay longer in relaxation, is to pause me now. If you're coming out with me, start to wriggle the fingers and the toes. Rotate those wrists, rotate those ankles. Maybe you wish to bring yourself into a full body stretch, stretching the hands up and over the head, stretching through the fingers, the toes, maybe arching into that lower back, and then bringing those hands back up and over, bringing the knees into the chest. Maybe have a little rock of that body from side to side, and then rolling over onto one side, just making the pillow with the hands, taking a couple of breaths, easy breaths here. And then And when you're ready, slowly making your way into a seated position. Bring the hands on top of the thighs, growing tall through the spine, relax through the shoulders, a slight bow through the head. Bring the hands together at the chest. Rub the palms together to create some heat in those palms. And bring those hands over the eyes, blinking into the palms and allowing some light through the fingers. Take a breath in. Take a breath out, bring the hands to the chest. Soft gaze to the floor. And just take a moment for have gratitude for how your body's moved through all its planes of movement, strengthening and flexing all those muscles. Controlling the mind, keeping it calm, using the breath. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts, from my heart to yours. Namaste.